It has been an action-packed season here at NJCAAE Fall Valorant. And I mean, 16 teams have been going at it. But tonight, here in the grand finals, we are going to figure out which of our two teams, Westchester Community College or Bryant-Stratton College, are going to be able to emerge the victors. My name is Sam Tongs. Joining me is Lithy. And Lithy, these two teams, I mean, they've risen above the rest. They've gone throughout this entire season and the playoffs, and they've made it here. And I couldn't think of two better teams, honestly.
Now, it's absolutely impressive what these two teams have been pulling off, man. It's basically two playoff beasts competing here, because we got to talk about how neither of these teams finished first place in their groups during the regular season. And that's a massive achievement to get all the way through the playoffs in such a dominant fashion.
I couldn't agree more. And to talk about that, you know, for one of our teams, the Bobcats, they went 5-2 in their group for the season. They ranked third. And then, of course, for the Vikings, they went 6-1 in their group, ranked second. But then we go into the actual playoffs themselves, where, you know, the Bobcats, they were the lower ranked seed, but now they come up, they've been undefeated during this entire playoff. And then we go over to the Vikings. They've only dropped one map, but still having that mentals going into these grand finals, that's something that you take with you, especially if you are the Bobcats. You can be like, we've been undefeated this entire time. We've gone up against some really tough opponents, and we've come out the entire way through completely unscathed.
Especially because if you consider who the Bobcats played against, right? The Northern Virginia Community College, those guys were, I think, placed second in the same group as the Bobcats. On the other side, in the semifinals against the Suffolk Community College Sharks, those guys were Group B first place. And that is a team that went through regular season without a single loss. Also winning against Westchester Vikings. So, man, I think the Bobcats are going to be our favorites for the night here, Sam. You care to agree more? Or you're not much of a
way that they're playing. The way that the Bobcats have been playing, obviously, it was kind of a rough season, an actual main season, but then they came off into the playoffs and really stepped into their own and figured out what they needed to do in order to succeed here. But I'm not going to discount the Vikings just yet, right? They've also went up against some really tough opponents. They were also not the number one in their group, but still the fact that they managed to make it here tonight is an achievement in and of itself. And to be able to stand up against the Bobcats is going to be a testament to how well their mentals are and how well they've been practicing, how well they've been scrimming, especially with the first map that we're going to be going on to tonight, Lithy, of Pearl. Something that Pearl has been kind of like this sort of weird map. Obviously, it's the newest map in Valorant, where teams are still trying to figure it out, what works best. And I think we finally cracked the formula, especially with what we've been seeing in the VCT and the VCT Game Changers.
Nah, man, we have not cracked the formula. There is some stuff that has established itself here, but I think we are far from solving Pearl, especially with all the new comps emerging. I've recently seen some Harbor, some Neon, some Breach being played here, so there's a lot of things that are gonna be possible on this map, depending on how well coordinated, how well practiced your team is. But overall, I love this map. I had the pleasure to cast this one as the first map at Champions, when that was happening earlier in the year, and since then, I mean, it's been by far my favorite map in the game, and I'm super happy we're starting the grand final out with this one. So it's going to be amazing, but we can also take a quick look at what the rest of the maps are going to be for this full best of 5, Sam, because that is another factor that's going to be super, super important as well for the Bobcats, because if you consider they've not dropped a single map, what if they start dropping maps now? What is that going to do to their mental?
Exactly. This is, by the way, a best of 5 series. So it's either first to 3 or we go the entire series through all 5 of these maps. Obviously, we're going to be starting off on Pearl. Then we move into Fracture, Ascent, Icebox, and if we need to, Haven. And so this is a pretty, I would say a pretty standard map pool. Sans a little bit of differences here and there, especially with the pick of Pearl, maybe a little bit of Fracture, but we typically see Ascent, Icebox, and Haven.
Yeah, Ascent, Icebox, Haven is kind of the good old standard for professional Valorant. Pearl and Fracture a little bit more of curveballs, especially once we look at the higher level of the pro scene. Lots of times these maps are banned, just flat out banned out, because no one wants to play them. Or, well, these are pocket picks for certain teams. I mean, you have teams like Fnatic for earlier in the year, kind of the Fracture specialist. Now the map has a little bit of rework. Let's see what the teams can do here. But what strikes me for the first two maps in particular is the fact that these are super execution heavy. If you have a good team, if you have a good coordination you can make some really, really strong impact plays on these maps.
Absolutely. And I mean, the two maps, by the way, that work really well for the initiator, Breach, who is able to clear out the site, be able to allow their duelists to get in on there. And maybe that's one of the reasons why we are seeing this. Maybe both of the teams are feeling very comfortable with wanting to pick Breach, wanting to really be able to utilize them quickly and early to be able to have that domineering lead in the first couple of matches and to bring yourself into what could potentially be a series point. And then on top of that, you know, Fracture also happens to work really well for Neons too, being able to use your fast lane to get onto the site. It's just more walls. And so these are two kind of maps, right, where Neon and Breach both work really well, and they just so happen to be the starting maps.
And that's where we bring in the curveball. What, Sam, if none of these teams play Neon? Well, Phoenix has been fairly popular, but hey, we can see what's going on as we head into Agent Select, and you can already see the hovers. There's an Astra locked in right away.
This is actually something that kind of is interesting as well. Cypher. I mean, Cypher recently got those big buffs, right? Where the utility that he has, his trips and his webcams, they all have a little bit more survivability. They work just that little bit better. And of course, the biggest change coming to Cypher with their ultimate. Being able to get 2 pings of figuring out where the enemy team is at is undeniably huge. And so I'm actually kind of liking this pick of the Cypher from the Vikings.
Yeah, me too. The Cypher is very interesting, also works really well, kind of to pull back and play retake when you play against the more of these faster comps. But we can see the Vikings setting up on the attacker side here at the start of the map. On the other side, the Bobcats not running the Neon. It's going to be a KO, Fade, Chamber, Astra, Raze, and I love this lineup. These are 2 comps that can definitely go toe-to-toe. On the other side, the Vikings not running a Breach with a Neon together, but the KO will fill a similar role, and it's just going to be equally exciting.
This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm already liking what I'm seeing here. Really kind of bucking against the narrative that we were talking about with the Neon, especially for the side of the Bobcats. They really want to see what they can do with the Raze. Raze is also a really good choice for Pearl to talk about that, being able to move quickly, especially on B long, where you have that mobility to get onto site fast. Is something that we definitely can't understate, and to be able to have that maneuverability. Sometimes when you're going on B long, it's all about how quickly can you execute before you figure out, okay, the enemy is approaching. We as defenders need to get there quick. We need to get there fast.
Quick and fast is one thing. On the other side, well, as I mentioned, you have the Cypher, especially on the defense. Then for the Vikings, you can play a little bit more defensive, a little bit more to the This was starting out the first round of the grand finals here between the Vikings and the Bobcats, Sam. It's a push towards mid.
It is a push towards mid. In fact, almost the entire team is sitting there. Proto is already going to be our first blood as Alpha is landing a very clean headshot onto them, and that's going to open up Art, allowing them to go inside to the A site. But the rotation is going to be coming in from the Bobcats. They need to get there quick. The Vikings have already been able to set up. Spike is going to be planted in the retake. It's going to have to happen, but a couple of kills, a couple of picks are going to be happening.
Yeah, Miro in a nice rat position there. Trades 1-for-1. But the Pliant is down. It's a 3v4 retake coming in here for the defenders. The knives come in. There's a lot of info gained. It really picks up another kill. Nice push onto the side. Unholy finds Wolf for the trade. And they can bait the defuse. The grab well. Beautiful double tap. MDems and Alfu cleaning house. First round of the finals going to the Vikings. That
was a clean execute from the Vikings. being able to take that first pick was very pivotal in allowing them to get onto site. And as the Bobcats were trying to regroup, as they were trying to get there as quick as they can, the spike had already been planted. They had already set up. I mean, you have one hiding out in dugout, then you have the other towards Art, two towards Art, and one sitting on A main. And so that gives you a lot of angles that you can cover. And it was also just some really good picks as well that were coming in, some really good mechanical aim that helped them out greatly there. Now we see MDims setting up their webcam, trying to figure out where someone is hiding. They do get a little bit of information that the KO, where the KO is, thanks to that knife, but they do get suppressed out of it. Now you're gonna have to be careful. This is also a really bold play from them as well, wanting to go in through mid like this, but it's gonna work out cleanly for them. Being able to have that Spectre, especially in the second round after you win the pistols, is huge, and we're seeing just how well that's working out for them right now. They're gonna have to be very careful. They've planted down the trip and they put down their cage, but two are going to come through mid. It's going to be whether or not they can survive through that, but it's looking like patience could work out well for them.
Wow, they did not check the angle, and while they still find trades, that's a lot of impact found here by the Cypher. Massive, massive plays coming in, and Krim is trying to make this work with just the Marshal. And it's a very, very hopeless situation. Sopa is just gonna clean house, and it's the second round, the follow-up secured here for the Vikings. But a little bit of a force spike coming in here from the defenders as well. Let's see how that reflects on the eco.
I'm also interested to say that Wolf picked up a Vandal in the second round, which goes one of two ways, right, Lithy? You either, it's a gamble. It really is a big gamble, because at that point, you're really relying on the fact that you're going to be able to take on the enemy, and you're going to be able to come out on top, because if you go down, or you rely on your teammates as well to be able to pick up the gun after you drop it, or if you die. And so for Wolf to hold on to their Vandal, be able to take it into the second round and get massive frags, massive work out of it, is something really that I think is impressive. It's a gamble, but it paid off.
Krim finds the first pick. Big kill on Sopa here. That's all the backup initiation here for the Fade in mid. Just down for the count. But at least the info's there. There's a raise waiting and sitting. The 1v1 goes the way of Krim once again. Massive impact found from the duelist here in mid. And now it's a three-man cruise line coming down. The Vikings rowing in their longboat. But they're looking at a rotation. It's not an easy side to take here, Sam, and they'll rotate off right away.
Indeed so, and you can see Unholy a little bit nervous inside of Hall with 9 HP, but the rotation is going to be happening. They're going to go through their spawn over onto A side, but they do have to be careful. Waiting for them is going to be an Astra, but they're going to elect to go through mid instead. But once more, as they make their way in through Art, making sure to clear it carefully. They did not get the, they did get the information on where Proto was. And a nice wall bang is going to even things out just a little bit more to allow the Vikings to get in onto site. But as they're saying that, Shrilly, that was a really clean headshot, and respect as well to not go inside of the cage. Now, one person all by themselves, Miro, to close out this round and give the Bobcats their first win.
This is just the beginning.
Yep, a little bit of an expensive prevention here of the bonus round, but the Bobcats finally on the board. Definitely the individual play shining through. Vikings were trying to run this quick mid push onto A with the Astra smokes covering the side that gave them the first pistol round, but once you're down on numbers, this is not an easy play to make, and it seems like the Bobcats are starting to adapt to what's been going on. And now, Sam, now we're having full buys for both sides, and this is going to be the first round that's going to be really interesting. Wolf ducking through the smoke, gets tagged up a little bit, but I'm not exactly sure if the Bobcats are aware that the Neon is sitting there. Push in through mid, Art remotely cleared out at least. Oh, the Prowler is good. Good information that there's something going on mid.
Something a little sneaky, and you can see that Shrilly has that idea in their head as well, Lithy. She's gonna have to watch out because MDims is gonna try and walk around, but they actually do get the wallbang headshot kill onto Shrilly. Excellent usage of that. Now the ultimate comes through, but little do they know how close one member of the enemy team is next to them. And already you're gonna see their back out. All of that information has been given. Miro trying to put up their smokes as quickly as they can, but they actually get caught out inside of the nano swarm from Sopa. And so a lot of opportunities as Sopa once more, a triple kill in their hands. This is going to be an easy spike plant. And now, all by themselves, this is going to be unholy. They had to walk into sight. They had to win out in the 1v5, and they had to get the spike diffused. Lithy, and at this point, if I was unholy, your options, what are you going to do? You have a couple of flashbangs in your pocket, sure. You still have your knife. You can figure out what you want to do here. Maybe the wiser option, too, could be to just save. Maybe be able to get a couple of picks, but look at how the setup is here. 2 on almost every single angle with 1 person holding in water.
Yeah, good setup. Unholy still gets 2 actually massive damage done here on the first full buy of the Vikings, but still, that's the gun round from the Bobcats completely shattered. Nice 3rd point picked up here by the attackers, and with that, well, you're on to a good start here in this grand final, Sam, because now your enemy is going into a full eco, and you can kind of balloon that lead up to 3 rounds, but this is also where the eco rounds come in, because, hey, I see a bunch of sheriffs, and we both know how heavy those things can hit.
Oh, indeed so. If you land the headshots, that's the most critical thing. 2 Prowlers go out inside of mid, but Proto is going to back out, get hit by it. And so a little bit of juicy knowledge that, hey, someone might be an art. We want to be careful going inside of there. MDims wanting to use their webcam through the Astra smoke, but it does get taken down a little bit there. But Shirley's going to hold close, right next to Box. They pivot. Oh, the important thing was being able to get off that headshot. Indeed so. As MDims walks in, the Phantom proving to be a very powerful weapon. Now it's just sight execution as they're able to walk in. Sopa on top of that is using their null command. Unholy, we saw what you're able to do with the Vandal last round, but it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to get that kind of potential with just a Sheriff. I say that though, but Krim, a double kill headshot with a Sheriff has even things back around, and now as they go back onto sight, another one, they were able to pick up the Vandal, get another headshot. Now the only person left on the side of the Vikings is MDims and Krim with a 4K Lithy.
Ooh, sign me up for a grand final, Sam. That is it. 3-2, the eco rounds. Krim with the crispest headshots you will see on Twitch on a Sunday evening on the 5th of December. Goodness, that was clean. What a lovely round, and such an important pickup on the eco here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 2 kills with a Sheriff. 1 is impressive. A 2nd headshot after that is just showing off. And then you pick up the Vandal to get the 3rd kill. Complete and perfect sight execution. They use the satchel charge to reposition themselves into a more ideal spot to be able to gather information and really throw off the aim of the Vikings. And then at that point, it was just, you go in, you get 1, then you take out MDims, you get the spike diffused, and you get closer towards evening things back out around. Now it's kind of the Bobcats the Vikings are poking and prodding, seeing if they can find where they want to go. Wolf maybe to gather to juke them out a little bit.
Cage triggered.
Look at this though, Sam.
Cage triggered.
They full commit to the expectation that there's a push coming through B long. The 2 Astra Stars invested, and the whole Cruise gang is marching down towards A. Miro, good for 1. Now the jig is up, but still, you can pick the orb. You got a Nightfall to work with, and it's gonna be not too much of a hard side take, because there is not really anyone holding that one down at the moment. Still, we've got 45 seconds on the clock, and for the moment, the Vikings are just waiting patiently. You need a little bit more info on where everyone rotated. You went all the way through spawn back to A. This is giving the enemy enough time to regroup, and you have no idea where people are outside of that initial pick.
Face your fear.
Yeah, this has been incredibly
Now the
slow.
Nightfall
comes in. That's going to be interesting. You can see that they're kind of scrambling to get over onto A site, but now, because 1 member was left behind, Unholy, they're able to gather that information. The knife goes out. MDims wanting to hold that angle, but Krim, unstoppable so far as they get another headshot onto MDims. Now the spike has been planted. It's all going to be about how can we get this retake. Krim is looking a little bit low at 32 HP, but even with their low health, is unafraid. They've whipped out the showstopper. Now it's all about going on to sight, but they're not even going to be able to use it as Proto is the Maverick here. And now another defuse as the score line is now tied, Lithy.
Beautiful comeback from the Bobcats. They pounce on the rotation. Nice fake-out attempt here on the A side, but ultimately the defenders do not fall for it, and this is the important part. They pick up on the rotations, the gun duels in mid, in that B link area. They all go the way of the Bobcats, and not last but not least, thanks to Krim. It's looking rough right now. The Vikings do need to adapt after those first 3 rounds that they were able to get. It's kind of falling apart. The ideas are there, the side pushes are there, but it's just that little bit more that's missing. KO knife from the defenders, not going to get too much info, but it's an eco quick push through art, and they're on to the side, Sam.
Oh, and now Krim is just going to walk up behind. They're going to throw in one paint shell, but as they're walking through the smoke, right behind them is going to be Janik, giving them all of that sweet and juicy information. And watch this. Krim is going on the highlight reel for sure with some of the plays that they've been able to make, just walking in through the smokes unafraid, and then being able to secure another kill on top of that. Miro, a couple of good jiggle peeks as M-Dims is not able to get anything as they were separated from the rest of the team, and maybe in an ideal position. Otherwise, they probably would have fallen with the rest of them.
The communication on the Bobcats' side is absolutely excellent. They identify a quick eco push through art and immediately move in for a pincer move. Unafraid Krim with the backstab. It's just beautiful. So these guys definitely know what they are doing, and that, Sam, that explains to me, to an extent at least, why they've been so dominant in the playoffs so far. As we already mentioned, they have not dropped a single map in this playoffs run after finishing 3rd in their group. But first, Krim goes down, so this round not off to a good start. And let's see where this is going. This is a full commit onto B side. We got the Cosmic Divide coming in from the defenders.
It looks like because of that, with the loss of Krim, you want to invest that Cosmic Divide as quick as you can. But now, look at that. Cypher ultimate. We know exactly where Unholy is, and they need to run. You see that they got scared, they walked out, and then they walked back in. We kind of have an idea. All right, Unholy's on site. Are they still... Yeah, exactly. Are they going to fall for it? And it looks like they are going to be smart about this. They're going to play this very carefully. They're going to use the Nano Swarm. They figured out that Unholy is here thanks to the usage of that Haunt. And now it's all about throwing down the Astral Stars, creating smoke. Shrilly to try and walk behind here. But is anyone watching that? Yes, there it is. The second he walks across that, it is going to be immediate crossfire. Oh, but in Sopa, wanting to use their utility, wanting to use the flashbang at the wrong time, at the wrong moment, does give a kill to Shrilly. But thankfully for them, it is traded out. Now, the number advantage is going to be going over to our attackers, but now things are slowly being evened back out. The spike has been planted. Miro putting up more stars here for the Bobcats. I'm going to try, maybe juke them out, maybe throw in a couple more bullets by faking in the defuse. But they can only fake so hard, Lithy, as Wolf capitalizes on the kill. And this has been a nail-biter of a series so far, 4-4.
Yeah. I almost was expecting fast rounds, fast games from what I've heard about this league so far throughout the last few weeks, but this seems like 2 teams made for each other. 4-4, beautiful, beautiful play. And as I mentioned at the start of the round, right, this pick onto Krim, I think, is absolutely massive. Once you have that raise down, you open yourself up to just grabbing so much more space on this map. That's an extra Phantom. Okay, let's ignore that happened.
Yeah. They're just flexing on us right now, Lithy, with their with their economy. They're saying we don't need no stinking money. We're gonna win this round, and then it'll be perfectly fine. Nothing's wrong here.
Kids, Sam. Flexing on them.
Yeah,
kids.
Exactly. We gotta show them who's the real boss here. All right, I'm liking what I'm seeing here though. 2 through mid. On the flip side, though, Unholy kind of has the idea. You take out the trip, and you saw Unholy on top of that. So they're going to be a little bit more cautious about wanting to go into mid. We're going to break off here for a second. We're gonna readjust ourselves. We're going to go in as a full team. We're not going to take any chances. We're going to make sure that we really are going to be able to get in onto B site, and something with a little bit different that we played through so far. A really good flashbang from Unholy to delay things out just a little bit more, but no kills comes through for them for now.
That's a lot of space taken here in mid, but Bobcats
30
definitely
seconds
are
left.
aware of where the Vikings are. Proto, though, did not think they'd be that far up into the connector. Wrapping around, finding the backstab. Now the gravity as well is used, but Unholy finds one on the backstab. The side take is in. Oh, Miro tries to go for it, can't quite get it, but still, it's a 3 for 1.
Ooh.
And Alfu still finds a pick. 2 for 1. 6 seconds on the KO revive, that's not gonna come through. The fragment into the side is more than nasty, and Shrilly and Unholy both picking up the last remaining kills. Bobcats once again are back on the board, claiming another point lead here in this first half. Sam, 3 more rounds before the side switch.
It looked like it was really going into the favor of the Vikings for a moment there, especially with Wolf's initial pick. Then they were able to get a second one, but it was as they were going on to site. It was just being found out and everybody going down. And I really want to say, too, real quick about Alpha, who was able to, first of all, fool Shrilly into thinking that they were going to be placing down the spike. Knowing that they had just enough time to be able to capitalize on a kill and then be able to plant down the spike showed some really good recognition of timing from the Vikings, and I really appreciate what they were able to do there. Now this is going to be a fast push, right? We're going to go in on the Neon Ultimate. Wolf is going to pop the overdrive, and they're going to overclock us one after another. We see them using the relay bolts, but it's just no kills were able to happen there. Thankfully, though, Alpha, once again, proving that they are strong with a Sheriff. A headshot comes in. This is going to be difficult. I say it's difficult, though, but we're still seeing the Vikings in this eco round getting kills, using the fragment. MDims walking through the smokes, even though they weren't able to get a kill, we at the very least know where Shirley is now.
Some good ideas coming in with the eco round once again from the Vikings, but it seems like Krim and team are just ready for it. This aim is so crisp on this man. Krim, just the duelist the Bobcats need. They pounce once more and are gonna bring the lead up to 6-4. A perfect position to get a good lead in this first half, Sam. And now, that double Phantom that was accidentally bought, that comes in even more painful as we're looking towards the next full buy here for the attackers. And Sam, this is going to be the first key round in this match for the Vikings. They need to score now. Otherwise, we're looking at a rough start into the second half.
Absolutely. Those are the kind of things that, mentally speaking, are going to follow you into the next half. And to know that, okay, right, the Bobcats are going to be ahead of us. It could be a 8-4 scoreline, it could be a 7-5, or we could potentially make it a 6-6, but we ideally do not want to go into this at an 8-4. That is just going to hurt us, and it's going to be a lot more difficult for us when we're defending to be able to even things back around. But look at this rotate, look at this fake out. They haven't had too much success on B, and so now the Vikings are going to readjust themselves. A full push as well. They're going to go in on the Nightfall. They're going to see if they're going to be able to find someone. Only one is going to be caught inside of them. That's going to be Miro, but it looks like it might be good enough. Trades are happening. Sopa does go down, which could be a little bit deadly, and now another Nightfall comes in. Both of the Fades have committed so much, and to be able to win out in this round, as you said, Lethy, a pivotal round.
Yep, Showstopper comes in, Krim picks up another one on the side. Alfu picks up the first, but Prota quickly trades that one. There's a lot of confusion. The Astro Smokes helps. The spray does not find the defuse. They're just sticking it through, and that is the round. 7-4, they wipe the floor with the Vikings, and the Bobcats just looking absolutely solid. From the start of the round, reading the enemy plays, counteracting the early aggression be long. They're just reading them like a book.
I was really impressed with that as well. How fast the Vikings went onto site, and it looked like they had every single opportunity. The unfortunate thing, I think, for the Viking was the fact that Nightfall really only caught one person inside of it. And so, for the most part, the Bobcats were incredibly safe. Meanwhile, on the flip side, though, for the Bobcats, Proto was able to use theirs, managed to get a couple more out of it than what the Vikings were in theirs. And so that really helped them out immensely in being able to retake that site so cleanly. And then through the Astra smoke, they weren't able to kill anybody as they were getting the defuse. And so the defuse just stuck. Krim saw the tip of the barrel. They know Sopa hiding out on the other side. But I like this though, respect. You don't know where the rest of the team is. We don't want to overheat, we don't want to be too aggressive. Proda giving us our first pick of the round onto MDims. Now it's going to be Sopa, and with the help of Wolf, maybe want to be a little bit bold, but a clean pop flash is going to force Sopa to walk onto the other side, and Unholy was more than ready for anyone who is going to be brave enough to make that happen. Now, a defuse. Alpha to try and stop it. Try being the key word, Lithy, as there we have it, going into the second half. 8-4.
First team ace of the grand final, and the Bobcats are looking dominant, an 8-4 half. But, Sam, and this is a big but, now I think we're moving on to the defense side for the Vikings, where the Cypher is gonna come in handy, and I am really, really curious what they can make work with that agent here on the defense. Since, quite honestly, it's been a pretty decent game from MDims in the first half, and with the Cypher just being so much stronger on the defense, I think there's a lot more they can do. So, the ball definitely in their court for this one.
It's difficult to make Cypher work on the attack round because really the only thing that he's good at doing in the attacking rounds is making sure that no one is lurking, which is something that the Bobcats never did. They never lurked. They always just went straight from CT into their site that they needed to retake. And so Cypher really didn't get as much out of what he wanted to do as he could have. But look at that. Look at how he's set up now. He has the webcams. He knows that, okay, there's a... That's a strong opener here, though. That is a really strong opening for the Vikings. You take out Krim almost immediately, who was none the wiser in mid, and now you are able to capitalize on that. Look at what the Bobcats are doing too, Lithy. They're being so much more cautious about wanting to go onto site. And so now you pop in and out of the smokes. Janik, another headshot, as it's just one after another for the Vikings. And a really strong pistol round, something that they desperately needed to begin their comeback, especially on the defending side.
Yeah, really, really solid positioning, playing for that retake, letting the enemy come to you. Once again, the pistol round going the way of the Vikings, 8-5. Now, this is the start of the comeback that they desperately need, and especially with the bigger weapons now, the follow-up round is usually, and I'm saying usually with intention here, just a formality. But we've seen the Bobcats do some fantastic things on eco rounds, so this isn't over by a long shot. Still, the push was great, the defense even greater. And once again, it's a solid four-man setup towards mid. They're just waiting for action to happen and playing retake on the side. Prowler to check. Wolf looking for a peek. Ooh. Finds information.
Wolf, very brave, my friend. Very lucky to be able to walk away with your head intact, especially with how clean some of these headshots from Krim have been. Now it's time to throw in the paint shells, maybe. Oh, they see the tip of the head of Wolf. A couple of shots go out, but that's all. It's going to be no kills. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Wolf, a double kill for them. Janik to throw in the haunt, throw in the Prowler. There it is. So much information has been given. However, we don't aggress on it. We don't push in on it. We don't want to risk anything, especially it's a 4v2. We take these one-on-one engagements. If we go down, we're evening things back up.
Great patience coming in from the Vikings. As you mentioned, not taking any chances of this. 35 seconds on the clock, and they couldn't be in any better position. It's 4v2. Still, there is the Sheriff danger coming in from Miro, and of course, well, it's a chamber we're talking about here. And the A side, a little bit open. We do have some Astra Stars going down, and Alpha is trying to make a stand here, right in the position to counteract this push. Oh, the spray is beautiful, but Shrilly still has a word to say about it. 5 seconds, the haunt comes in, the plant's not gonna come through, the clock is gonna run out, and it's gonna be another point on the board here. Vikings moving up to 6, and are very happy with this.
I'm very happy indeed, and by the way, I like what they did there. They had the opportunity to be able to take down Shrilly, but they didn't take it. They just wanted to go back. They weren't feeling uber confident about being able to take that fight because they didn't want to lose any more of the economy that they already had. It's already taken a couple of hits with the loss of 2 members on the side of the Vikings, so let's just go ahead, back out, make sure that we save the weapons. It's obviously Shrilly on a chamber, and that headhunter still as deadly as can be. They're able to get a lucky headshot off, maybe even 2. that could have spelled disaster for the economy, especially going into what needs to be a round win here for the Vikings in order to get that bonus round.
The bonus round is gonna be massive. If they can pick this up, we're on 8-7, and this is almost evened out scoreline then. And this would be an ideal scenario going into the last half of this first map of the Grand Finals. The championship title on the line after all, and Unholy looking for a flash. Beautiful combination with the Prowler. Immediately gonna find the info on Yannick, and he's just gonna pull out back and far at that.
Oh, Livy!
On Trim.
You see what this Cypher is doing?
Boost. Yep, that's a backstep through mid. And that might come in crisp as Krim finds a pick. Beautiful shots once again. The crossfire is great, and Krim knows the backstep is coming. Takes out MDems without any issues. And now it's all down to Sopa and his Neon. It's a tough spot to be in, but once again, Krim has the idea the backstep is coming, is looking for it, finds the shot on Wolf. Beautiful clean up, 3K already, and Krim is not done yet. He knows something is up, goes in, but Sopa finds the pick. Pop flash, the spray, good enough. Protect Killian's house, 9-6, the first round here for the Wildcats on the offense. This is important, Sam, but it was the bonus round for the Vikings.
Indeed so. And I also liked what happened there. That's what we're doing at the end of the round when they knew that Sopa was the only member remaining. It was all about swarm over him. He's hiding out. Let's just go ahead. We'll get rid of them. So instead of being a little bit more cautious than what we saw from the Vikings, the Bobcats were aggressive and they wanted to get rid of Sopa immediately. Continue to put those hits towards the economy, and they had the confidence in themselves to be able to make that happen. And now we're seeing the Bobcats moving in through mid once more. Maybe this time, instead of poking in through B mid, we start going in through Art. The Prowlers both are coming out. One has been taken down. And as we're shooting through the box, Janik, okay, we know that they're kind of there. That was really good from Alpha, by the way. They were able to hold out on A main, very patient, waiting for someone to come. That person was Shrilly, and a very good finish. Eliminate them the first blood.
Not the first, very aggressive pick, and Unholy with an absolute rat angle. Oh my god. That one's nasty. An important pickup, and Miro is gonna put one on the board as well. One by one, the Vikings are starting to fall, and the round is looking better and better for the Wildcats. KO versus KO. This one goes towards Sopa. Beautiful shot, evening out the numbers, but the mid control is established, and they can push out through waters. Might run into the arms of MDems. He's ready. He's ready. Ooh. Not ready enough, because that's Krim pushing through. Finds the headshot immediately. Alfu pushing up to him. This one goes the way of the Astra once again. Second duel, he wins. The Haunt coming in. The push after Alfu with the 3K. This man is unstoppable right now. It's all down to Miro, trying to put the spike down, trying to put the double digits on the board here for the Wildcats. Plant goes down. Some stars to work with. An ultimate ready for Alfu. But it's a 2v1, that's the most important part here. Low HP on the KO. Pop flash goes in. The retreat towards Link is super important. Miro finds the pick. No double swing. Little bit of miscommunication coming in from the Vikings. There might be a star ready for the spike as well. Just a few more seconds for Miro. He doesn't hear the tap, just falling further and further back. He's forcing Sopa to play time, Sam, and is doing beautifully. The drawing coming in, the graph well is great. Sopa doesn't know he's here, missed the shot, but the defuse won't come through. The timer ran out. Miro with a clean execution on that after plant. 10 on the board, the Wildcats looking strong.
Very strong indeed. It looked like maybe the Vikings were going to be able to hold out on that round, especially with what we just saw from Alpha. Insane mechanical aim to be able to hit, first of all, the fade haunt, and then flick back down to get another headshot. They took down 3 high-value members of the Bobcats, but it all came down to the shoulders of Miro, who played that perfectly. First of all, it came down to making sure that they were able to get the first pick onto Alpha, and then you could tell that sure, you know, we still have the KO alive with Sopa, but Sopa only had 30 HP, so they weren't going to be aggressive. They didn't want to do anything that were going to endanger their life, so that way they aren't going to be able to secure that. And so there you have it. They were able to win it out, but Sopa, look at how aggressive Sopa is being. I mean, you kind of want to do things like this if you're going to be on an econ round. You go in as quick as you can, maybe be able to secure a kill, and that's exactly what they're going to be able to do. Wolf on the flip side, be doing neon things, throws up the fast lane immediately, turns tail, runs in high, goes inside of Hall, but their presence has been detected thanks to the KO knife of Unholy. It seems, though, that the Bobcats don't want to aggress in too quickly. They need to make sure that they're watching behind them because, of course, as always, MDims on this Cypher is going to be a painful thing if they do not catch him out.
And he's pushed up so deep, he's definitely gonna hear footsteps. He's looking for the rotate, pushing in more and more, looking for a backstep. Well,
Patience, though.
Prevent? Yeah, he's gonna clear the backs. Need to keep in mind this
waiting for an
is
opportunity
for the defenders. The Haunt is cleared out just in time. They're onto the side. Find Alfu. One by one, they fall. The weapon advantage, Sam, is just a little bit too big. The plant going in. No over-aggression as well. Gotta commend them for that. That is beautifully played.
One enemy remaining.
And now they get to set up in long, especially with where the spike has been planted. Janik, I can't even see their health bar anymore. All you had to do was sneeze on them, and that's... I mean, Unholy, a robot can't really do that, but they do have a Vandal, and it's good enough for a body shot to take them down. And now we're seeing the Bobcats 1 point away from match point, 1 round away from match point, Lithy. And this has been a very good attack from them. They had a pretty decent defense, but their attack so far has just been, I like kind of next level, honestly.
Quite honestly, it really seems like the Bobcats are in the head of the Vikings at the moment. You know how the drummer is sitting on the longboat usually, giving it the rhythm. Seems like the Bobcats are sitting on that drum right now. But the pushes are coming in. The Neon Ult gets shut down. It's a 1-for-1. Oh, and Shrilly finds the big NDems down. Beautiful, beautiful, and important picks.
What is Krim doing? Krim, what are you doing?
Man.
You're putting on a clinician of how to get some headshots. I say that though, but Alpha, we can't discount them just yet either, Lithy. They've been doing a fantastic job at holding their own. Oh my gosh. This isn't supposed to happen, Lithy. It's a 1v1 now. Shrilly v Alpha. This is a tense moment.
What just happened, Sam?
And I don't know. The Vikings, they had everything going against them, but they're able to recover. The Bobcats look so clean, especially with Krim getting a triple kill. Shrilly giving up A site though. This is a strategic maneuver and a genius maneuver on that because Alpha is none the wiser right now. They think that they're going to be planting on A, but no, Shrilly giving up the ghost, going straight towards B. And Alpha honestly should have recognized that by this point, and now they're going to have to make the long road over. Shrilly is going to be able to set themselves up.
Also, I really like the plant. Faking out that B long position for this chamber a little bit. Alfu, well, gonna notice really quickly that the jig is up and this chamber is still on side once he pushes through here, but after such a fantastic round, a Vandal to their hands. Not quite sure on the util, but this is gonna be a tight 1v1. He knows he's pressed on time. He's pushing in fast. The footsteps coming through. The defuse will not happen. It's way too late already. He sticks it, Shrilly pushes him, and finishes it off, pumping the Wildcats, no, the Bobcats, sorry, to 12 and match point. Actually, map point, rather.
Oh, it was funny too, because the way that was set up, it looked like the defuse when Shrilly was about to make their swing. You couldn't even see them, which is something that I think right now that the Vikings are struggling with is making these site retakes happen. I think the 1v1s are a lot of pressure onto them, and especially in these moments where your opponent is so far in the lead. The Bobcats now doubled the score line. it's a tense moment, especially with these grand finals in your head. But obviously, we still have a couple more maps after this, and we still have this map left to go. And so there's still potential for the Vikings to be able to claw back. 12-6 is not impossible to win against. And it's not impossible to come back from. It is going to be hard, though, to say the very least. And with an opening like that from Shrilly, it is going to become that much more difficult time and time again. Miro is going to be able to safely plant here, especially thanks to the efforts of that Cosmic Divide. Things are being evened back out, though, as Wolf is able to make the trade onto Shrilly. They do take a little bit of damage for their efforts, and now the readjustment. Look at this. Look at this. Now you're going to throw in the Nightfall as well, Lithy, but no one is on site. They knew that. They knew exactly what they were going to do. They knew exactly what the Vikings were going to do. Hot Flash comes in. Janet couldn't see anything. They couldn't see their death as Unholy makes the swing. And in these grand finals, Lithy, Bobcats are going to take map 1 of Pearl.
In a commanding fashion as well, throwing everything and the kitchen sink at the enemy in this last round. Beautifully done, from reading the enemy's strats to executing side takes to just, honestly, some player diff coming in here and there. Yes, Alpha on the other side, absolutely crazy rounds from the controller as well on the Vikings roster. But still, Krim popping off like crazy. Sam, this is a final that's not going to be over in a quick 3-0. This is going to go the whole damn length. It's going to be fantastic.
These two teams are cutting their nails against each other and proving to us why they have been able to make it to the grand finals. And I am so excited to see how the rest of this series is going to play out after this short break. An incredible first map for the Bobcats as they're able to take Pearl in a 13-6 fashion. But before we go into that too far, I want to go ahead and talk about our amazing individuals who let us be on this channel. NJCAAE, they are an org who focuses on the 2-year institutions with esports programs. This org has had a fall season going on, and this is the season finale for their Valorant series. The season finals, by the way, for the other games are as follows. We're going to be having Rocket League tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. EST, Rainbow Six Siege Tuesday, December 6th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, and Call of Duty Vanguard Saturday, December 12th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure that you're going ahead and following the channel so that way you can watch those exciting games as they happen. And now, Lithy, back to the agent select screen. We're already going to be looking at Fracture. And, you know, we talked about it earlier. We talked about some of the agents that we might be seeing here. And it looks like already we have the Neon, we have the Breach. But still, though, on the other side for the Bobcats, Krim sticking with the Rays. Surely not feeling too different with the Chamber. But there we have it, Unholy on the Breach. So a nice spread of agents.
Interesting to see the Brimstone come in on both sides here. But once again, MDEMS on the Cypher. Once again, also liking this agent on this map. Definitely works on Fracture. But the Neon for Wolf is going to be super interesting, especially because it's finally paired up with the Breach from Janix. So, offensive, fast-paced gameplay, Sam. With the Fade, with the Brimmy, with the Stimmy, you can definitely make some tempo happen if you want to take some fast sides, and that is definitely something we have seen from the Vikings on the first map.
Yeah, exactly. Being able to have that, first of all, that Stim, giving you that speed boost to entry onto site quick is going to be so pivotal in taking these sites that I'm super excited to see how this is going to work, especially when you have a Neon in your pocket who can zoom at like a Formula One race car and take it just as quickly. And we know that Wolf has the aim to be able to make the initial frags to clear out the site, which is going to be so important for the Vikings as they need to be able to find a point for themselves to stand up against what the Bobcats just did to them on Pearl.
It is gonna be a little bit of a deciding map here, Sam. We were talking about how the Bobcats have not dropped a single map so far in this playoffs run after finishing third in their group, and they are looking quite dominant. Though, the Vikings were particularly powerful in the PIS, so starting off this Fracture map right would be a massive, massive impact. But we can also see that the Bobcats do have good mental. That was kind of our biggest question going into this, right? What happens if the Bobcats kind of fall behind a little bit? What if a few rounds go south? What if even a full map goes south? Can they recover? Do they have the strong mental? Gonna stick this out, and so far seems pretty good, but we'll see what Fracture brings. Once again, this map is fairly execution heavy, and we've seen some good ideas from both sides as we are pushing in through A main with some stuns and some tempo, and a pick onto MDems. Krim is on the board, Sam.
Krim, you are juicy as ever. They are just going to go ahead, back out of drop. They've done their damage. They've done what they needed to do. And so now it's time to back out and reposition ourselves into a more ideal position so that way we can be able to take the fight a little bit stronger. But it seems like their idea of wanting to rotate over towards B might put them on the back foot here, especially with Janet getting the pick onto Unholy. So one less breach that they have to worry about, but it's really... They're all alone by themselves, gets a double kill. I headshot two on top of that. Now Krim walking up. Another one comes through for Krim, putting a second kill for themselves on the board, and now all by themselves. Hiding out in sands is Sopa. Oh, you're gonna have to make a rotation here. You're gonna have to do something. They can hear them on both sides. A Proto to walk through the smokes. None the wiser knew where Sopa was. Now it's gonna use the Prowler, but the Prowler's stuck in the corner. But Sopa undeterred, even with the number advantage that we're seeing that the Bobcats have, is still going to be able to make a couple of kills of their own. Ooh.
Now,
Krim.
you're not messing with Krim, man.
Krim.
That's not happening.
And that is actually going to be the Bobcats' first pistol win in this series.
True, yeah. And off the back of some really good picks, Krim finding that opening duel towards Dish, rotating in for the crossfire from main. Just really, really solid side hold here from the Bobcats. Just straight up good aim.
Sometimes that's all you need, really. It's just having really good aim. They also were able to figure out very fast where they were coming from, thanks to that webcam. Krim, you got to watch out. You have a Vandal in your hand. You don't want to lose that, but we're already seeing that this Vandal was a really good buy for Krim. One headshot onto Wolf and Janik to use a couple of their utility in order to secure themselves a ride out of there. No way! Okay, thank goodness that Unholy was there to be able to make the swing and get the trade out. Otherwise, it looked like the Bandit was going to go into the hands of the enemy. That was a dangerous move right there. There you have it. Sopa, once again, all by themselves.
It's not gonna be for long. Beautiful cleanup here by the Bobcats. It's gonna be 2 on the board, the follow-up secured, and the Vandal gets carried over. That's actually a super interesting thing to see, that Krim is so damn confident now on the second map already, that he's going for an early Vandal and makes it work as well.
And it's those little things too, where it's like, okay, we take the Vandal, we need to get a kill. They got the kill. It was a scary moment for them as they did die. That's what you have teammates for though, right, Lithy? To be able to secure and get your weapon back. Wolf caught inside of their concuss. Stuck on the other side of it. Stuck towards tunnel. As Krim is looking very good so far with their headshots. Once more, this Vandal is putting in the work. But now things have been evened out. Janik to pick up the ult orb. Being able to have that rolling thunder is going to be so pivotal for the Vikings in making these site takes happen. Now it's time to run underneath, and that was beautiful right there. They are able to use the Cypher ultimate to figure out exactly where Proto was coming from, and a kill from Janik, who's been actually kind of stepping up in this map of Fracture right now, Lithy.
Yeah, so far making a good showing this round, and with a little bit of a numbers advantage, this side push definitely doable, but Shrilly, the hero of the pistol, coming in. Krim putting another one on the board. This man is unstoppable. One after the other, they fall, but finally he gets traded out. Shrilly secures it though, still holding on to that Vandal, and then has the side, doesn't get the shots on the first, but the second lands it. Unholy coming in, has been solid. Oh,
No
he
way.
sees the tip of the hat and says, "Good day, sir. This is my round." Gets the defuse and the third one for the Bobcats. That's a bonus translated.
The Bobcats, a little shaky to start with on Pearl. They were still able to win it out, obviously. And now going into Fracture, it's like a whole new team is playing here. They're doing such a great job at being able to take site retakes that it's been like almost unbelievable. Vikings, though, had a much better showing on their attack. Once they put weapons in their hands, you can tell that they're feeling a lot more confident about being able to land those shots. But it's just, once again, Crim, Liffy. Let's talk about Crim. They are unbelievable.
Dude, Crim has been popping off like crazy. A little bit of a risky playstyle at the moment coming in, but it's going well so far. Oh, the double satchel actually lands the shot, and Dems was not ready for that. Flying low, swooping in, taking heads and names. Oh my goodness. The eco not gonna be too easy to play for the Vikings, but Miro finding one more. They're trying, at least they got the plant down with all the usual invested. Still holding the side, Unholy cleaning house. And now it's 2 in tower. Wolf is on 8 HP. He's probably gonna be found by the spray. Everything is stuck. Janik finds 2 with the Stinger. That's a lot of damage, but by this time, 4 in a row. That's a lot of eco still working in the favor of the Bobcats.
Bobcats are, they've been making these plays that are just, you let them get on. The site retake has been so good from the Bobcats. We've seen it twice happen now. And once you put guns in their hands, it becomes a whole different story where Crim was kind of popping off on their own. Now the rest of the team is really starting to pull their own weight as well. Unholy landing some insane headshots that are really just, the Vikings don't know how to respond against. And there you have it. I mean, this is a good opening for the Vikings, however. It's back and forth, though. Unholy, look at these jiggle peaks. It was a good attempt, a good effort, but Janik to take the kill, put Unholy down, and now openings are happening. But the Vikings, not wanting to go to A, instead going to rotate over to B, where Miro is going to try and be the only person to hold them off. The rotation is going to have to come in fast. As we see across the ropes, it's going to be MDims by themselves to be able to make a flank happen here. It could work out well for them, but the site retake is going to have to happen. The Bobcats are going to have a tough road ahead of them.
Absolutely. One man down, Crim not in, but Shrilly has an operator to work with. And can find some massive impact with that. The Prowler gets taken out. They have a rough idea that there's a breach sitting towards Arcade. They're pushing onto side. Miro makes it through, takes out the Haunt, but it's all smoked out.
Oh, lineups.
The Brim utility. Oh, the fault line comes in. The push might come through. The push out of tower. Sopa still has some energy left, but Miro MDev's out for, lots of trades, another team ace, and finally the Vikings find the first raid and point. Beautifully done.
Simple as this, Lithy. They were playing with numbers. They were playing with utility. They had the lineups. The Brimstone Mollies were able to come in, and then we saw it there as well with the fault line to push them off the second they tried to go for the defuse, or the second they even tried to go onto site. And when the picks did happen, the team was there to make the trades. And that secures the Vikings their first round win here on Fracture. And that's kind of the opening that they needed to be able to really position themselves and give themselves a fighting chance. It's going to be a lot dicier now, though, with the loss of Wolf. Is Shrilly much more prepared this time around to not let anyone walk onto A site for free. And now the Bobcats are getting their revenge. Unbelievable, Shrilly. 3 kills, just this one angle.
And how does he do it? He sidesteps the fault line and just takes them all down. They even reclaimed the operator the Vikings just stole from them in round 5. What a play here by the Chamber. Not the first massive round Shrilly has had in this matchup. On Pearl also looking absolutely crisp on the aim, just getting overshadowed a little bit by the fantastic moves that Crim is pulling out. But this team as a whole seems to be on a line, the support as well. So from here on out, it's going to be super, super difficult for the Vikings to break these lines, because they can't find any opening picks at the moment. All of their utility kind of goes into Nirvana, and they're struggling to make anything work outside of just 1v1 trades once they are onto the side and have the plant down.
I'm interested in seeing what the plan is here from the Vikings. They're playing incredibly slow, no one making any moves. Maybe they're waiting for an opportunity to be able to use the Rolling Thunder here. Crim does get caught inside of it. Lizzie, look at that movement technique, unbelievable! And then Unholy, hiding out towards ropes, gets a headshot on Wolf, who was wanting to go in and make that happen, and now Shrilly, an operator king. Once again, you're not watching out behind you. The trades are happening back and forth. This is an amazing show of forces. Crims whips out the showstopper and throws it into Alpha's face. Turns out rockets are incredibly powerful. Sopa, not a chance in the world, decides, I'm just gonna save.
Saving a stinger though, probably not ideal.
Yeah.
Decides differently and walks back in, but the defuse already came through. Maybe he can get a gun. Actually finds him. Big kill onto the Raze, but Miro shuts him down, loses the weapon. 6-1. The Bobcats looking absolutely solid so far on Fracture Sam, and it is really this interaction between the duelists and the initiators that they are making work so well. On top, of course, dodging things left and right, like Crim getting out of that Rolling Thunder. Impressive.
It was impressive. You were able to use your satchel charges, your concuss, and you're being chased by a Neon who's inside of their ult. Ooh, it could be scary. Ooh. Meanwhile, what's really scary is deciding to go in through B long, when Shrilly has an operator. And we're gonna see the consequences of wanting to do that at its maximum. Prota throwing out some of their utility. MDims, now we know that they're hiding out behind the crate. We're gonna see no one's gonna get actually caught out by the roots.
Look at
Crim, you're walking up right behind them. MDims doesn't know where to go. You can't go back up there, especially not when it's Crim, who you try and stand up to them, they put you right back down.
They did not respect Crim's standard move, pushing out through Dish. Has been doing this all game, and once again he finds value in it. Janik gets rolled over by Prota, and even Wolf can't do anything against that operator from Shilly. 2K for the chamber, another beautiful round by the Bobcats, and slowly but surely it really looks like the Vikings are falling apart here on the offense. They can't really make anything work. They need to change up their game a little bit more, Sam. I want to see some adaptation to these early aggressive pushes we are seeing. Maybe group up a little bit more, lock down some angles with 1 or 2 man crossfires a little bit more, and punish the early aggression that the Bobcats are bringing.
Exactly, that's what they need to do. They need to figure out what can we do. We've been trying these different sites, but now they have different weapons that are really pushing against us, and we need to stand up against it somehow. Sopa gets caught out by the concuss, decides not to move in. A smart move, especially with what's been happening here, but Shrilly is unbelievable. As already another opening pick with the operator onto Janik is going to stall things out for the Vikings big time. They don't know what to do. They don't know where they want to go right now.
Looking all divided at the moment, but clear focus towards B.
Oh, Wolf. Oh.
Wolf getting a new haircut. One of those buns is gone. I can guarantee you that one.
I like what we're seeing here, though. They don't want to peek the operator. If you do that, it's going to be much more deadly. That coming out of my mouth, Liffy. MDims wanting to be brave, wanting to ego check Shrilly. Shrilly, you're unbelievable, undeniable, a force to be reckoned with inside of this operator. The defuse comes through.
That was disgusting.
It was.
That was a disgusting round by Shrilly once again. The picks this man finds on the operator are massive. If Crim doesn't step up, it's Shrilly. Overall, the Bobcats making this work with another flawless round and 8 on the board. You really need to pull back and get some points here before you go into the second half, because otherwise it's gonna be dicey for the Vikings, even if they are looking a little bit stronger on the defense, in my opinion, with that Cypher.
If I were the Vikings, the second we figure out where Shrilly is with that operator, it's time to go to the other site. We do not want to take on this madman who has been landing almost every single shot against us whenever we decide to try and check them. It just hasn't been working out. So we need to make sure that we adjust, and we need to make sure that we're playing smart here. And I'm already scared about what's going to be happening in A main. Sopa, you're playing with fire right now, my friend. And I fear for you. Look what happens. They got burned just a little bit. But this may give an opening for Janik to be able to walk through. Set up for a...
Oh, surely.
Sopa, you're playing with...
Flash pots out. Oh! Janik gets the flick and punishes Unholy. The crossfire setup was good, but Janik is just a little bit better right now. Still, Shrilly, still holding down this site. The smokes are down, so pushing in through main, not really possible. But look at MDems securing B side, pushing in, finds Prota. Massive, massive pick with a backstep here. And that opens up B side. Krim immediately pushing out Dish because he knows the rotation is coming in. Bobcats once again, Sam, straight in the head of Vikings. They know what's happening.
That they do. Miro to whip out the molly to try and stop the approach, to try and stop the push. But the important person managed to get there. Alpha with the spike is going to plant it down. Now it's time to clear out whomever we can. MDims is going to anchor down in this corner position, but now Krim, the Reaper, is making their approach through B main. And anyone who is in their way, anyone who wants to win this round is going to have to go through them, as already a 3K and a site retake. Unbelievable plays from the Bobcats. Lithy, this is a team who wants to win these grand finals.
9-1. What a dominant performance here on Fracture so far. And really, really clean play on top of that. No mistakes, even those red angles that MDems is sitting in every now and then, again, getting cleared out. Krim is just on point right now. Shrilly as well. It's looking beautiful, and this is such a strong first half. Still, 2 more rounds to go. They might be able, within just the next 4 rounds, Sam, to put this whole grand final onto match point.
Which is unbelievable, being able to have that going into the next half. Being able to have a score line like that. All you have to do is just win 2 more rounds, and there you go. You already have Shrilly. A close angle hold with the operator, something that you don't typically get to see very often, but actually worked out massively for them. And look at this super aggressive hold, but it might be the end of the reign of Shrilly, as finally Janik is able to put this beast with the operator down. MDims, however, to go in through a drop, the rest of the team is in a rough position. Janik to get away from the aftershock is still holding on to sight, but an undeterred Bobcats is able to get the pick onto them, and now MDims by themselves has to plant the spike first of all, Lithy. The spike didn't even get planted. There was no opportunity to be able to make that happen. They have to get the picks, and they have to do it all within 45 seconds.
The Vikings currently holding out for a hero, but it is not gonna happen. No White Knight in shining armor is gonna appear. It's only gonna be another point for the Bobcats. 10-1. As we're looking at the last round before the swap, Sam. 11-1 could be the scoreline after the first half here on Fracture. And this grand final, after a solid start by both teams into Pearl, is looking to look really dominant for the Bobcats right now.
And this is not the ideal eyes either. We have Stingers, we have Spectres. For the last round of this half, I don't think the Vikings were wanting that or were expecting this to be happening to them. And I think it's kind of throwing them off. And now it's just a utility dump. It's an ultimate dump, Lithy. Rolling Thunder, Nightfall. The Vikings can't even see what they're doing. And now, once again, Sopa, time and time again, are all alone. And this is straight confidence. A flawless final round of this half, and the score line of 11-1.
Damn. I'm not sure what much else I can say about this map, man. This is looking so clean from the Bobcats. The Vikings really struggling to make anything work. We talked about it already on on Pearl. that it seemed like the Bobcats were in the head of the Vikings. They knew what they were expecting in terms of plays, in terms of strats. And that's the first time I've seen a cage drop down so weirdly there. Anyway, looking for the one-way. MDEM's putting out some strats, and we got to talk about the pistols here, Sam, because so far, two out of 3 pistols have been going the way of the Vikings.
And hopefully here on defense, the Vikings are going to be able to find their confidence once more. New half, new us. A potential maybe to be able to take some rounds back for ourselves. I'm not going to say it's a very good situation for them to be in 11-1, but already, I mean, openings like that is going to give them the foothold that they need. It has been traded out by Shrilly. The spike has been planted. The retake, though, is possible, especially with the entire team here and ready to push in. It's already looking really clean from Alpha. A double kill to be able to set things up. We know Krim is in arcade. Now we just need to be able to kill them, who has been insane so far, by the way. Now Krim finally goes down. It's a 2v1 and a much more ideal situation. You need to make sure that you swing this correctly.
Nice.
And indeed so, they are able to make that happen. And the Vikings, they find their foothold. They find what they needed to do. This could be a possibility for them to at least be able to get some rounds back for themselves.
Clean communication. The 2-on-1, super clean executed. But still, it is only the start. You need to follow this up. But you can see, in exactly these pistols, that the Vikings are a force to be reckoned with. Once these guys get rolling, the coordination is on point, they know what to do, they know how to play this through. It is solid gameplay we're seeing from them. So, hey, defense? This wouldn't be the first time I've seen an 11-1 half being turned on its head, as we're looking for a push into A main that gets countered with some massive utility straight away, and Alpha looking for some early aggression here with his Stinger.
Sometimes this is what you need to do. You need to try and be incredibly aggressive, and that's going to make the Bobcats back away and rotate over to B. You had a utility dump, and now they have that confidence to be able to make this site take happen. Throw out a couple of shots with smoke, maybe be able to take off the head of MDims, but their hat still stays intact. Now the rest of the team has reunited, and it feels so good walking up into there. Janik, oh, they're gonna go through the smoke, but Krim and a Stinger is going to make Janik regret walking through that. And this is a team, even though they don't have guns, Lithy, are still making some insane kills and in some insane headshots.
To be fair, Sam, I do think the Classic qualifies as a gun, but MDems definitely has the bigger dog on his leash. Still, it's not enough.
Okay.
Look at those shots, Shrilly! Cleaning house, a thrifty follow-up, denying the second point after the pistol round, and it is a map point here for the Bobcats on Fracture.
The Bobcats are... this is their map. Fracture has been an insane level of gameplay from them. Recognition of when to engage, when to back out, retake sites, and also sometimes at the end of the day, Lithy, it really just does come down to clean mechanical aim. And Bobcats have that in spades. They have been putting in the work and the effort. And now it's just a straight on push to A. Let's see if we're going to be able to take this site. Let's go as quickly as we can. But Krim and their attempt to clear out the site wasn't paying attention to where Wolf was. But still, though, the Bobcats, they are unbelievable in how they're going to be able to do that. MDims, I like the action hero shot through the smoke, but Proda is not going to have any of that, my friend. Now all by themselves, time and time again, is Sopa. Where do we look for? What do we even begin to formulate a plan to be able to retake this site? We do have a couple of prowlers. Our Haunt is coming back up, but now we need to be able to take some picks. That's a really good teleport from Shrilly, and now Proto to make the swing from Sands, where Sopa was not expecting them whatsoever. And now a 2-0 score line for the Bobcats as we go into series points.
Man, they're using those spades to dig the enemy grave even deeper. Sam, we are at 6 foot right now for the Vikings. And the last map might just be the nail in the coffin. I shouldn't be saying last map, the third map. because there is still comeback potential. We talked about the mental, Sam. We talked about what would happen if the Bobcats went down on maps. What if they stumble a little bit? Can they recover? Can they keep their mental? No, we gotta talk. What happens to the Vikings now? They're with their backs to the wall. It's map 3 in this grand final best of 5. If they don't start playing now, it's all over.
It is. This is the moment where you really need to step up. You've been able to take the lessons that you've learned. You've gone up against the Bobcats now if you're the Vikings. All right, we figure out how they play. We know that they're super aggressive. We know that they have really good mechanical aim. So how do we play around that? How do we play against that? What are some of the changes that we need to make here? Thankfully for them, going into the map of Ascent, this is a more normal map that we get to see here. This is a more normal map where a lot of teams tend to scrim on. It's a map that, in my opinion, everyone is comfortable on. And so we obviously got to see that the Bobcats were so much more comfortable on Fracture than they were on Pearl. And as compared to what we saw from the Vikings, not comfortable at all on Fracture. And so being able to translate that here into Ascent, this could be their moment to really shine bright.
Absolutely. I mean, the Bobcats clearly thriving on the chaos we've seen, not just on Pearl, but especially on Fracture, as when we think back to these rounds where it was just utility dumps on the sides, brim smokes from both teams everywhere, breach utility thrown in, and somehow the Bobcats come out on top. Now, we're going back to a little bit more standard. As you just mentioned, the Vikings have shown this standard level that works for them. This is really where they seem to thrive, and I want to see them play towards their strength here on Ascent. I want to see a good, solid comp from them, something they just feel comfortable about on. Doesn't even have to be meta, in my opinion, if you just play to your comfort zone in a grand final where you're down on match point, basically. I think that is the right call. Get comfortable, get some wins.
Exactly. But that's the great thing about Ascent, right, Lithy? You can really run whatever you feel the most comfortable with, and it should theoretically work if you know how to play that agent well. Obviously, there are still some really good picks on Ascent that lends itself well, especially, let's take, for instance, KJ, who is able to lock down B site so effectively with the usage of her turrets, with the usage of her nano swarms, and the alarm bots, makes it for the attacking team to really get in there difficult. But that's not to say that, okay, we can't still use MDims on the Cypher, perhaps. MDims Cypher also has really good potential of being able to lock down A or B and preventing the attacking team from getting on there easily. And that's the beauty of Ascent. You can make it work with whatever composition your team feels the most comfortable on.
I think it's going to come down to maybe even some curveball agents when I'm thinking about Krim. What I'm curious about is if he actually plays Jet on Ascent. We've seen some really crazy stuff happening from teams like DRX at Champions. They've put out some incredible Jet performances on Ascent. But overall, hey, it's anyone's game here still. I think the Vikings do have the potential to send this series to the full 5 games. And Sam, I'm all here for it.
I'm all here for it as well. And we will all be here right after this short break. It is now series point in an exciting moment for the Bobcats, but the Vikings still have an opportunity to be able to take things back into their own hands and begin the reverse sweep against their opponents. And this is the pivotal moment, the pivotal map of Ascent, where it all needs to happen or they are going home.
Absolutely, Sam. The Vikings had a dominant season. Not quite finishing first in their group, but fairly high up there in the playoffs so far. They've dropped a single map, but won every single matchup to get to this grand final in a commanding fashion. And now they are 2-0 down versus the Bobcats. It is not looking good if we just look at the microcosm of the first 2 maps, Sam. But we're going to Ascent, and this might just be the map where the standard play style for the Vikings might shine through and prevail.
That's what we're hoping for. That's what we need for them. They need to be able to prevail. And we said it before we went to break. Pick what's comfortable for you, right? Sure, meta is meta for a reason, and obviously it works, but it only works if you know how to use that agent. You need to go with what you feel like you can bring the most impact with. And if you're feeling good about yourself, then you need to do that. However, on the flip side, we also know what the Bobcats are capable of. We know that this is a team, a force to be reckoned with. They have been a whirlwind in this series so far, taking the first map of Pearl 13-6 and then being able to take Fracture in an even more dominating faction, 13-2. And so for the Vikings, mentally speaking, this is the moment. Forget those 2 maps. They never happened. This is where you need to go in fresh. You need to go in with a better mindset. This is where you need to, you're warmed up now. You've got the communication. We know that this is a really good team that has the skills to be able to take, at the very least, this map and bring us into the reverse sweep.
Absolutely. They are here in the grand final for a reason. But they're looking at 2 absolute powerhouse players on the side of the Bobcats, right? We got to talk about Krim. First and foremost, the duelist of the Blues popping off like crazy on both maps.
Krim has been, to steal the line from Chamber, a tour de force, steal the old name, a tour de force. This insane player has been able to land some headshots that they should not have been able to get away with. They have been able to go onto site where they've been able to get kills that seemed like it was going to be impossible. And then on top of that, they've been able to get out of some dicey situations where their life should have ended then and there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been really impressive watching him play, but of course his team supporting him, the setups with his initiators looking absolutely solid. But on the other side, on the side of the Vikings, we got to talk a little bit about Alpha in particular, right? The controller player popping off with some crazy solo plays, clutching out multiple rounds for them on Pearl, for example, and yeah, sadly, on Fracture, didn't go quite all that well for him on the Brimstone, but might be able to step it up over on Ascent. Might be seeing him back on the Astra. Definitely would be working as we are heading into Agent Select. Sam, match point between the Vikings and the Bobcats.
I'm liking what I'm seeing already, by the way, Lithy. Wolf immediately on the Jet. And so Jet, really good agent on Ascent. Her dashes to be able to get in and out of trouble is going to be so pivotal, especially when you put an operator in their hands. And we're seeing some big changes all over the place. MDims once again on the Cypher. A really good agent. Want to reiterate time and time again on Ascent, can lock down the site, expertly speaking. And now we go over onto the other side. No Chamber this time around. Instead, Trilly hovering on the KJ.
Yeah, both teams going fairly, I want to say fairly meta on Ascent. MDems sticking to that Cypher, feeling super comfortable on that one, has been looking great on it. On Pearl in particular, we'll leave Fracture out of the picture here for the moment. But on the other side, Shrilly is going to be the interesting part, because this man has been popping off like crazy on the Chamber on the first 2 maps. Now on the Killjoy. That's going to be very interesting to watch, because we both know how impactful a good Killjoy as a side anchor on Ascent can be.
Oh, Killjoy can pretty much lock down a site all by herself if given the chance. When she sets up her utility, she sets up just everything, it makes either taking the site or retaking the site that much more difficult. And I love the fact that we are going to be able to get to see a KJ, and Trilly on top of that has also been putting in the work for the side of the Bobcats. We talk a lot about what Krim has done. Trilly has done just as much and has made almost as much of an impact as Krim has as well.
And we see a little bit of a setup towards B. Pistol rounds so far have been going mostly to the Vikings. That's where you can see the coordination of this team in these close angle firefights come through. And I'm super curious to see what the Bobcats can do on the attacking half here, starting this third and match point map out as they are pushing onto the side. They're through past market and into enemy spawn, looking to pick the KO. Prota finds a pick, Yannick though as well. The shots going left, right and center as the attackers are on the side, but it is gonna be an over-numbered enemy team. Knife comes in. Oh no, the spike. Oh, Shrilly grabs the spike. He gets out.
And now it's going to be planted. Where do you go from here? MDims has no utility, no trips that they're going to be able to use. The webcam is also down. Wolf low on health. No dashes. It's going to be difficult for them to be able to get onto site. Shrilly, an incredibly aggressive position. But now it's the 1v1. Unholy only had 16 HP, but it doesn't even matter as Alpha lands a headshot and a 3K. This was the player that we highlighted, Lithy, for the Vikings, and they stepped up to win this pistol round for them.
Once again, the Vikings pulling through, but the coordination from the Bobcats was impressive. They almost managed to clutch this out, even though they were down in numbers. Ultimately, the Vikings are playing this a little bit better. It comes down to the 1v1. And it once again goes the way of the controller on the Vikings. We've talked about Alpha. Quite honestly, Sam, after some of these rounds, we might put in a request for a name change to Sigma. Looking pretty good.
Listen, I think so. I do believe that. Crim, you're going to jump up on top of the boxes, but it is going to be detected by Sopa's knife. And so now we have kind of an idea of where the Bobcats are. We're going to commit a lot of utility. Smokes are there. We've also just used the fragment grenade. Now it's all about repositioning and seeing if the team is going to rotate here. Meanwhile, though, look at what the Bobcats are doing. They're taking a 2-2-1 approach. 2 at A, 2 through mid, 1 hanging and anchoring at B. And so now, MDims, with his Spectre, it's a little bit of a long range, and so a dicey proposition if they do decide to take these engagements. They're going to have to land the shots. It's going to be a lot more dangerous, especially in these moments where your enemy has kind of the range on you right now. Oh, but they're going to go into the smokes, MDims. They're not even going to risk it. They're just going to back out immediately. Smart idea.
Using the enemy smoke to their advantage, Sopa still trades one as Crim finds Alpha. Still the push coming in through Garden. Sopa standing his ground. 3K already. Shrilly picked up as well. It's all in the hands of Crim. And we know what this man can do with a Sheriff. The last time he had one in his hands, it was a 4K and a round win for him. But this is one of his most difficult tasks yet in this grand final. Finds the information on the first. Can't quite get the kill on Janik.
Brilliant.
Finds a stinger though. Will be pushing in through Garden, gonna get caught by the knife, but still, the flash is good, the spray not good enough. Wolf picks that one up, and it's a clean 4 members surviving in a second round on the board for the Vikings.
The Vikings played that perfectly. They knew that Crim was alive, and they know what Crim is capable of. We do not give them an opportunity to be able to make picks on us. You saw that the Fade was hiding out in heaven. One shot went out their way. What do? They don't ego it. They don't try to take that duel. They just get the heck out of there as quick as they can and regroup with the team. So it was brilliantly played.
And that's going to set the pace for the rest of the match, right? Because now we are heading into this first full-buy round for the Bobcats. Picking up an orb and trying to get as much information as possible. The Omen Smoke comes through the seas as well, but Wolf just staring down the barrel, looking for spray. The market is going to be cleared out, but they still not quite done yet. The jump in comes through on even the spray on Wolf and market is good enough. It's a fast-paced 4 kills here for the Bobcats. They pounce, they catch their prey, and they get the land down.
Crim was feeling a little bit angry, I think, about what happened at that last round, and so they wanted to step up and prove to us that you gotta watch out. I can still get 3 Ks once you put a gun in my hand. And boy, did they ever show us that what they are capable of, and a stark reminder of why you have to keep an eye on this player at literally all times. It was just quick sight execute, and then you have Crim, who one after another was able to get kills. Lithy, what am I looking at here right now, though? What is Wolf holding in their hands in this 4th round?
Wolf seems to have the wind in his bag. And an operator in his hands. Gonna get forced out with the knife immediately, though, so without a dash, you really don't want to fight these early duels. But it's a stronghold. The big question is, did the Bobcats see the operator in the hands of this jet? Do they want to commit to this B side? The main utility that's going to be used is for this entry with the support from Market, the K ultimate as well, and Wolf immediately shuts down Crim. Big pick.
Big pick indeed, and now it's time to entry in onto site. Miro to teleport, rotate back over to Boathouse, and it looks like they are going to be able to get the pivotal kill onto Wolf, who had the operator in their hands. And so now this is the absolute worst case scenario for the Vikings. They just gave their opponents an operator. They just gave the Bobcats an operator. And now Krim, who is also playing this Jet, could potentially be having an operator.
That's a big weapon picked up if you'd want to go for it, but in these short angles, especially as the attacking side, a lot of teams favoring to just go without this operator. If you're not really fighting for long-range mid-control, that weapon not too great in my opinion, because with the Vandals you can just find so much more impact on A long, on B main. We're gonna see an aggressive push with a knife from Sopa. The information is there. They're trying to work with a one-way, but let's see how long this lasts. The Prowler come in. They know exactly. They're sitting around the corner here. The Stingers coming in, but the push is good. Sopa finds one, but ultimately it's gonna be 2 quick kills and a number advantage going into the side here once again for the Bobcats. Door closed, and the plant surely is gonna come.
Indeed so, there it is from Proto. The door is going to be broken, but a swarm grenade is going to be placed there to make sure that anyone who entries is going to be, at the very least, denied, or maybe even be able to separate an opponent from their team. Wolf does see the turret. It's going to make it a lot more difficult for them to get onto site, but the more important thing is, now we know that someone is coming in through a main, and so we're going to have to be ready for that, whomever they are. Wolf, Vandal, and literally the second, Lithy, they even begin to peek at A, their head is lopped off. And this is going to be the Bobcats able to take the lead in this series point of these grand finals.
3-2. It's once again only the pistol and follow-up on the board for the Vikings. Yet to find a full buy since the start of Fracture, I think, actually. It is a rough spot to be in. But this is once again where the mental comes through, right? Do you have the nerves of steel? Do you have the coordination to counteract the more and more aggressive plays that Krim and the team are throwing at you? The lockdown as well. The KO not in the area to kill that through the wall. No Sova for the Hunter's Fury. And they're just gonna push in. The lockdown is through. They know the side is clean. No one detained. And even that fragment cleans out that last corner. Now the retake though with the null command. Sam, we're going in.
We're going in, and we're going to go in as hard as we can. This is a pivotal moment. We need to be able to retake this site, but already the picks are coming through. Sopa does get taken down, but inside of their ultimate, a potential for a revive is going to be able to come through. But the aim so far has been crisp, and a fantastic retake from the Vikings that couldn't have been done and executed any better.
He gets Sopa. That was half a second off of the KO expiring.
Woo.
Oh, that's massive.
They're going to give it up. They're going to let Wolf get the defuse.
Yep. KO ult points are important, as you were able to see. Such a playmaker here. Sopa pushing in, getting picks, and finding, well, basically all the enemy bullets on him. Which is awesome because the KO just gets picked up afterwards anyway. Super important key round that the Vikings were just able to pick up, evening out this series, or at least the scoreboard, sorry. And from here on out, suddenly the whole thing looks a little bit more comfortable than it did before.
And the great thing for the Vikings too is that they still have 4 ultimates that they can work with. Right off the bat though, the second the round starts, it is going to be Krim popping the Blade Storm. Let's see what we're going to be able to do with this. Maybe we can put some knives in some heads. And that, with Krim, more than a possibility. Actually, a certainty, in my opinion, as it looks like they're wanting to go in from mid through trees to make their way onto a site. But for right now, the way that the Bobcats are playing, I think they have a newfound respect for their opponent. They're taking this slow. They're poking and prodding and figuring out where exactly they are.
Yeah, we've seen this already. Waiting for information, waiting for initial picks. We can see the Prowler going into a B main. You at least now know where the Fade is at. Also, nothing found for the defenders either. So Vikings still sitting in the dark a little bit. Maybe the camera spotting some people in B main, but The knife is coming through. The trip is taken down, and here comes Grim. The Blade Storm going in, but the nade more than good enough. Wolf on point with the shots as well, putting on 2 on the board. We're down to 4 versus 3 as Prota finds another one. Miro following it up quickly. The push into the side. They smell the backstab. Alpha cannot find anyone. It's all down to Sopa. It's a back and forth, and a Spectre in the Chaos hands. As the Vikings try to grab control of this game, it's not working at the moment. Pop flash, push in, crossfire setup is great, and Prota nails it down. 4-3. Once again, the Bobcats taking the lead.
It's so unfortunate to be seeing that happening right there. I thought the Vikings had a really good defense, Lithy. It was a really good place that they set up their nano swarm inside of Market. And so, sure, Krim was able to get a kill, but they landed right on top of that. And Wolf, a really good double kill, but it was just better site execution. We've been seeing it time and time again from the Bobcats. When they want to go onto site, they are able to take the site pretty much in a deadly fashion.
It seems almost overwhelming what they're doing, and once again, the aggression comes through. Wolf trades a little bit with the Blade Storm. It's a 1-for-1, but the Nightfall is going to come through.
Wolf can't even see anything.
Yep. Oh, the smokes are in. Wolf still in position. 1-for-1. Shrilly gets the flick. MDM's though with the knife. It goes in. No way. That's disgusting. This man is on a mission and finds one after the other. And the quick rotation with the old Miro making some clutch plays to get out of that sticky situation. Gets the plant down. And now in a 1v2, it's going to be all by himself to play this retake out, Sam. That was a massive, massive play here by MDems.
Whatever happens, Lithy, whatever round this goes to, whoever this goes to, MDems is absolutely going to be the highlight of what just happened here. Miro in an interesting position is going to hold in Hell, and so this is where we're going to see if the Vikings are going to be able to use the numbers advantage. They're going to go in through door, but you really had to make sure that Hell is cleared. You're going to throw out the fragment grenade. Now you know exactly where Miro is hiding. But for Sopa, they had their utility out. They wanted to use the flashbang, wanted to throw it out. Now it's up to Alpha. And if anyone is going to be able to do it, it's going to be Alpha. But with the time differential, Spike has been planted. It goes off. A clutch round from Miro to be able to hold there and waste enough time to be able to allow it to go off.
What a play. Beautiful decision-making from the Bobcats controller to dip out with the ultimate. Gets the plan through and then clutches it out. Just beautifully done. And once again, Bobcats quick, thinking on their feet. It's beautiful. It is good execution, and the Vikings just struggling to keep up. They're doing their best, but at the moment, it's not working out. They need to find some more plays soon, because we're heading into this territory, Sam. With this full buy, one more of those key rounds. If you find a win here, you're keeping the score close in the first half.
Yes, you are. Wolf, you have another operator in your hand, but it's pretty much being taken away from you with the drop of that door. 2 hiding out inside of Boathouse, Alpha and MDems. It's going to be a lot of damage going through towards them. And even the second that Alpha tries to peek their little head out, it is going to be lopped off. MDems is doing a lot of damage to whomever is trying to get onto the site. And now Wolf has been able to set themselves up with that operator. This is looking like a much more ideal position that they want to be inside of. Meanwhile, on the flip side, though, Krim, undeterred by that operator, is going to get the kill on Wolf. And we see Miro. This Omen play from him has been 200 IQ, honestly. They know that someone is on site. Let's just go ahead, get out of there, hit the teleport, plan on A site.
Same procedure as last round. Spike is down, and it's all on MDems. The ult already used. He knows they're in the area, but has no information on where exactly. It's a crossfire setup here for a main. It's a difficult task for MDems, but he's doing his best to not make noise. Checks under heaven. But the big question is, can he land the shots? Krim on 5 HP. No, the swing is good. Cleans house, and that is gonna be number 6 on the board for the Bobcats in the first half on Ascent here.
And the best part about this for the Bobcats is they keep doing a lot of damage to the economy. Look at Wolf. Look at what they have to buy. They bought the operator. It went a little bit better for them this time around, but it's always a rough moment for them when they lose that operator. It's so much money that goes down into the drain that really you're only able to get one kill off of. And now you got to buy sheriffs, light armor. Sopa just electing to go with a straight up classic, no armor. This is a full save round for them. And it's going to be even that much more difficult with the null command being popped.
Absolutely. The Killjoy utility not really used yet, but MDems this time around gets taken out immediately. Yes, it's an eco round, but still, that pick is absolutely massive. Prota on the side gets the Haunt out, and they are perfectly aware of the reinforcements funneling in through spawn. Wolf finds spawn, but gets punished by Miro. It's a clean sweep. 4 on the board here, and 7 for the Bobcats.
That was just disgusting what we saw there. Anyone who tried to walk onto site was immediately met with an insane amount of crossfire. The Bobcats had every single angle cornered once they were able to take site. Of course, though, it's a round, save round, so it's not the worst thing in the world. It's kind of something that we expected to happen for the Vikings. But now their economy is bolstered. They're able to work with weapons this time around. And now we get to see if the confidence that comes with that is going to be happening here. Ooh, Alpha, an aggressive position. I like this.
It's been making that work on Pearl, especially. But once again, it's Krim who finds the first blood in mid. It's a massive, massive pick. The Killjoy lockdown is going to come through. Once again, a beautiful usage of this ultimate for this offensive A push. And it really seems like only with this ultimate that they're going A. No one detained, but Krim finds the wallbang through the box. Janik down, 1 by 1, they fall. Krim with another 3 on the board, just popping off like crazy. Looking for more in the smoke. This time around, Alpha has the traces to counter the spray. Camera finds no information, no one on B. The spike is down, and MDems and Alpha, they need to retake this. Alpha finds another shot, beautiful, taking it down to a 2v2. The side is swing comes in. Miro with a backstab finds the kill through window, and it's down to Alpha versus Miro. Controller battle, he fakes the defuse and finds the 1v1. 4K for Alpha once again to keep the Vikings alive and in the game.
That was expertly well played by Alpha. They were able to, first of all, in heaven, get the first kill against Krim, and that just began a chain of events that ended in them being able to get a 4K and securing the round. This is why, in my opinion, Lithy, once again, Alpha has been kind of the MVP for the Vikings. They've been doing such a good job at being able to stay alive, to secure kills. I mean, the kind of peaks that we saw there and being able to land headshots and patience as well was beautiful. A fantastic job from Alpha.
Yeah, really been the star of this Vikings team so far in this grand final. And that was such an important full buy round to win here as well, to put another point on the board. 7-5 half still possible as MDems finds one through the smoke. Beautiful. With all the damage done already to the enemies, there is so much that can go right for the Vikings here, and MDems finds 3. Beautiful Cypher play once again. This man is just on the board this whole series.
It's the 1v1.
It's Alpha and MDems, and it's down to Prota in the 1v1 versus Janik.
30 HP, 2 Lithy.
12 on the Haunt. The swing comes in. Janik wins it with the Spectre. 7-5 half. Sam, we got a map on our hands here.
Yes, we do. This is a much better position than what we've seen the Vikings in this entire time. And this is what I thought was going to happen on Ascent. This is a map you can tell they feel much more comfortable on. They are in control. They are very much back into the form that we were seeing them on in Pearl. And this is the best scoreline that we've seen them have so far going into the second half. And so I'm excited to see what their potential is going to be with their attack. We know this is an aggressive team, and we know that this is a team who can capitalize on being able to make these attacks work for them. They had a really strong attack on Pearl, and so I'm hoping that this will be able to translate well onto Ascent.
We were talking about how the standard play might come in handy for the Vikings here on Ascent. But on the other side, we gotta talk about the Killjoy on the defense as well, right? right now. Yes, MDems has been doing work on that Cypher, but we know that Shrilly can be equally devastating. Excuse me? Krim with the Sheriff in the pistol round? This dude has no regard for human life, and Shrilly, once again, looking for some early push. He isn't spotted. Oh, the alarm bot taken out. The duel goes the way of Wolf, though, as Unholy trades a little bit back, but still, it's a 3-for-3. Prota is on that rat angle mission. Gets traded out, but not before taking someone down. It's a 2v2. The plan is going to come through, and the Bobcats need to rotate over to find the retake.
This is going to be really important in playing with your teammate. Both of the smokes have gone down as well, so it's going to be much more difficult for the site retake to happen. A 2v2, though, and an exciting moment. Krim is the one who is still standing on this jet, and with a Sheriff in hand. The most important thing is that they're going to be able to land these headshots. Anything less than that is going to cost them massively. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to. Alpha, unfortunately, this time around is not able to clutch it, but Unholy, with their fragment grenade, gets one kill and then turns around the corner. That frenzy diff is just what they needed in order to be able to secure this pistol round for the Bobcats. The second one for the evening, and now slowly approaching towards match point.
Krim being the sacrificial lamb, they're pulling all the attention by swinging into the side instead of waiting for that 1v1 duel against MDems. Beautifully done. It nets them the second pistol round against the Viking in this matchup. And from there, 8-5, 3 points advantage. And of course, the better eco going into the follow-up round. They are in the driver's seat, to say the least. And Krim, look at this man. This man is Chris and...
Krim is in the driver's seat, and Krim is like push the nitro button, the nitrous button, and is put a brick on the gas pedal in his full speed ahead. Unbelievable shots that we're seeing from them tonight.
Cover going out.
This is far from over, although the Paranoia with a fragment together, oh, completely cuts off Janik. He is all by himself. Yes, the camera finds some information here.
You are insane.
On to the enemy, but Krim just goes melee with the Marshal, finds a kill, MDems down. Such a beautifully timed fragment here from the Bobcats KO. There is no way you're pushing through that. The enemy recognizes it, and now the quick push comes in. Shrilly finds that one. The smoke is great. And even though Alfu is in a beautiful red position with the classic alone, there is nothing you can make work. Flawless 9th point here for the Bobcats. Sam, this is looking dire by now for the Vikings.
It is indeed. That was an insane round. First of all, from Krim, who I've never seen someone be so aggressive to walk through smokes with a Marshal, and not only be able to do that, Lithy, but to be able to get a kill. Whoa, yeah, yeesh, Krim, you are. Wow, that's it. That's all I have to say about that. Now it's gonna be a much more standard push from what we're seeing here. Already looking good though.
They're just bringing in the full momentum of the playoffs so far, Sam. They haven't dropped a single map, and they're not going to start with that in the grand final. Unholy finds the first pick on the next round as well. It's a 1-for-1 ultimately, but that is one attacker down for the count, and that surely is going to take some wind out of the sails of the Vikings.
At the very least, you've been able to take out Krim. You have weapons in your hands. This slow push, though, puts the Bobcats on the back foot for a second here. You're going to throw out your haunt towards pizza? Shrilly is stuck there. You know someone is there, and if we go on them quick, we might be able to get them. But that's the thing, though. The smoke goes down. Shrilly just rotates back around, and in doing so, they wanted to try and fake them out, make them think that they're heading into market, but instead they walk back towards pizza, where it was just poor timing that Wolf was able to get back there and get the headshot onto them. Now it's all about being able to make the site execute happen. There's only one person on there. It's gonna be Prota. But look at this, Lithy. Look at how good these smokes are to be able to cover for their teammates. I'm loving this kind of gameplay, and I'm loving this kind of teamwork that we're seeing from Miro to be able to help out their squad in being able to survive. They haven't been able to yet, but still though, the sentiment is there.
Wolf in particular has been stepping up more and more on Ascent now. Seeing some really, really solid plays from the Vikings duelists, and of course the team play. We talked about it a bunch already. The coordination definitely is there with this team. They're looking for a fight. Miro loses it as well. MDEM's putting one more on his scoreboard. Wolf clutches it out, and it's a 6-9. Very, very nice look here. Still on the point side for Bobcats, but the Vikings are picking up some steam.
Indeed they are. They're starting to find their momentum, and that's the most important thing. Once you're able to do that, it becomes much more difficult to be able to stand up against them. And I think in a rare moment for what we're seeing on the side of the Bobcats, not the best looking economy in the world. They're still able to make the full buys that they need to, but going into the next round, it's going to be dicey for them.
Dicey indeed. One more of these key rounds, Sam. You gotta grab some points here, otherwise enemies on 10, and you're looking at a dire situation. Krim barely gets out with the dash, but he found a lot of info here.
Indeed, he did. At the very least, you know that there is an Omen who hits you with a paranoia. They committed a lot to be able to get in and out, and now the real question is, how are they going to be able to capitalize? I'm going to tell you right now, though, Unholy, capitalizing on some headshots.
That's a big pick towards mid. Gonna leave the attackers open to backsteps. You gotta put one more member of your team to watch for those. And it's just gonna take so much more power out of your push. Also, this A side, quite honestly, on complete lockdown right now. It's gonna be tough to take this one still. You have the Fate utility, you have a Haunt, you have a Seize, and one more Prowler to work with. On the other side, Unholy still has that null command to work with, and this could completely ruin the Vikings' day as they're pushing into the side. Miro finds the first, the trades are going back and forth, but first of all, it is the Bobcats pouncing once again, mowing them down with 3 members left alive. They are now on 10, and the Vikings maybe already setting their boat on fire, Sam. It is not looking good.
No, it's not looking good at all. These are some interesting buys that we're seeing from them as well. I think they want to go try and spread out the economy as best we can and be able to save going into the next round, because they need to be able to win out on this, and they need to have the numbers to win out as well. Otherwise, even if they do win the next round, they're not going to be able to make full buys. So it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of, we need to be able to execute a little bit better this time around, but it's also going to come down to, can we get the kills? Oh, this is something exciting. We have a Jet v Jet duel in mid. Krim against Wolf. And it looks like Krim is going to be coming up big. They were looking forward to a second one on MDims. They whip out the classic, Lithy. They whip out the classic.
The classic shot to the face. Krim just on fire. Unholy playing one hell of an Ascent here as well on this KO. Finding so many impact frags. And with 10 on the board, they're looking to make this even more painful. 4v2. Now the Vikings up on deck to do anything here. Maybe pull this series back. It wouldn't be the first round they've clutched out being down in numbers. But it's not gonna be easy. Unholy with the pop flash, looking for the swing, has found some information. The fragments coming in, pushing him out, and Sopa wins the duel. That's one down, 3v2. They have the camera to spot out mid. Nothing spotted yet, but the alarm bot is there. Oh, MDems gets spotted out on that one, so push definitely slowed down. We're going towards market. Prota once again with the red angle finds the double, mows him down, puts him up to 11, and he is very happy with that round.
Honestly, Lithy, I think it all really came down to the very beginning of the round with Krim getting a double kill, one inside of their Blaze Storm, and then they were feeling cocky, whipped out the classic, it's a headshot. And so it was a 2-for-1. You'd already won out big time there, and then MDims, and it really all came down to what MDims and Sopa were going to be able to do. They were able to do some work, but at the end of the day, it was just that right angles from Prota. Time and time again, we've seen them hold that, and it's worked out for them both times they've done it. You gotta back away. Good job, Dims.
Got
I'm gonna
it.
get caught out by the Prowler.
Proto have been playing a fantastic round so far on Ascent, and Alpha finds Crim. That's an important pick, and we've seen how big the rounds can get for the Vikings when they find Crim at the start.
And now we're gonna use the Cypher ultimate, figure out exactly where the Bobcats are at. This is a pivotal round for them if they're gonna be able to win this using only the weapons that they were able to buy. This is a thrifty round for them, and now they also, too, on top of that, Yannick has an operator in their hands, and so what was looking like a really dicey round for them might actually be coming back into their favor. Look at that, Yannick already making that operator sing for them. A kill there. Surely holding in mid is going to put down their turret to make sure that they have that mid control, but the spike needs to be planted, Lithy. They're wasting a lot of time here, and what could have been, at the very least, that spike maybe a quarter of the way done.
Time currently still on the side, though, of the Vikings. Numbers advantage. They got an operator in Boathouse. Strong position to work with here. But still, Bobcats being methodical. Miro pushing in, finds one, down to a 3v3. They've ruled out the backstep. Full flash coming in. The trade going back and forth. It's all down to Unholy, and Janik nails him with the operator. 3K for the fade. And the match point, championship point, stays averted, Sam.
All because Alpha was able to get the initial pick onto Crim in mid, giving Yannick that operator, who got a 3K with that. It was that moment where you are kicking yourself if you're Crim. Just a little bit. We know what Crim is capable of. So now we get to go into this next round. They're still able to make the full buys that they need, and the Vikings get to have a big smile on their face, at the very least being able to take a thrifty round.
My camera is destroyed?
Information?
Found
We know Crim really likes this angle, and Dims is...
Eminem is doing a great job on the Cypher with the cameras. And we get a side push coming in with the null command as well for support. The retake gonna be a little bit more difficult, but Miro and Unholy, they're standing so solid, and they're nailing one after the other. Janik still can make something work with the operator, but Crim has arrived, and Crim is out for blood. 15 bullets in that Vandal he picked up, and Janik still picks up one more. He has the operator, and it's all down to him versus Shrilly. The man that has been stepping up like crazy over on this side of the Bobcats all throughout the first two maps. The star player next to Crim. And it's all down to Janik on the fade. Nightfall.
That's unfortunate.
Close call.
They think they're safe
on Shrilly. Thinks they're safe. He's pushing in, and he gets the short angle, puts him up to 12, and the Bobcats move to map point.
They're safe, Lithy. It was just an unfortunate timing moment and a heartbreaking moment for Yannick, who really put that operator to work. Another 3K for them. It was just, the Nightfall breaks my heart seeing it, not being able to catch out Shrilly like that. What can you say?
But Shrilly's positioning has been on point, man. He is dodging stuff like that left and right. We've seen it on Fracture already. We continue to see it. But Janik finds the opening pick on Crim, and this is massive.
I think the Vikings are starting to figure out where Crim's favorite position is. It's in mid, and so if we are able to go on that quick, it's a quick kill. Speaking of a quick kill, Dims is just gonna walk right up into Holy, who is not expecting the Cypher right there, and gets a kill on them.
Yeah, beautiful push by Dims.
This
man still playing one hell of a game. It's a trip in, but it finds Prota. It's shut down. The most important pick Prota might have found this whole series. It is championship point. Miro opens up the window. They secured Garden, at least for the moment. And yes, Unholy is trying to push through. He gets through. Sopa is sitting there. Such an important pick on Prota. The Vikings doing their damnedest to stay in the game. One in hell, one in main. And Sopa pulling out of Garden. The control is still there. The possibility
Sopa,
for a
are you gonna
backstep.
be-
Looking for a
you
fight.
gonna do
The
this?
timer is ticking down further and further. The Vikings looking to
and
make it,
Yannick.
and the Miro goes down. It's all down to Shrilly, but it's not going to work out. Alfu with the double and the 8th round for the Vikings. 4 away from overtime.
Vikings are fighting tooth and nail to make sure that they are not going to end this series like this on Ascent, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from this team. The only thing I'd like to see from them is just a little bit quicker of the spike plan. I think they hold on to it for a little too long, and so that costs a lot of time, and that gives the Bobcats a second to set up.
They are mine.
And it's all these opening picks on Krim, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see. They're just waiting for Krim now.
Yeah.
But Krim realized it, though.
And-
Krim realized it, and they're not peeking.
Yeah. Adapting from the adaptation of the enemy. Beautifully done. And you know, the stress is on the Vikings. Down
Yes,
4
it is.
rounds,
This
you're
is
on
still
match
championship.
points.
No
and
way.
Wolf once again wins the 1v1 against Krim.
Blocking sight.
A super
That is
important
so
opening
pivotal.
pick here to start this round off, and with that, A-side might just become more and more attractive.
Going out.
Yes, you make some noise towards B main with the Fade,
Shutting them down.
trying to get some attention out of Shrilly, maybe some of the Killjoy utility. And with that knife
Now the
towards
rotation.
mid,
I'll find
you can definitely make
Okay,
something work.
okay,
Yannick
Yannick.
with the operator gets the swarm grenade, but Prota finds Wolf. Big pickup
You hit a
with
reload.
the Stinger here. And it's still on. Sopa has the information. Prota all by himself gets out, just jumping through. Hail Mary throws it. Shrilly
Oh my
still
word.
with a 1-for-1
No
hero.
way.
One more on the board. 3 versus 2. Weapon advantage. Sopa finds the biggest 1v1 he ever needed. Still the spike is down. Attackers need to grab it. It's an eco still
15 seconds.
for the Bobcats. 12 seconds. It's coming down to the
Is there
wire.
another option?
12
You gotta go.
seconds. And
gotta
we need
go.
the championship. And the end of the round.
be-
And then
it might be
swings the
possible.
first,
It might be
pushes
possible.
in. Miro all by himself with a frenzy in his
No.
hands. 1 second. Just needs to play for time. And he
Yes.
clutches it out. The patience is rewarded. And the Bobcats are your NJCAAE Invitational Champions.
There you have it, Bryant-Stratton Bobcats. All they were doing were playing patiently on that last round with only 15 seconds left to go. They knew, they had it in their heads. We just played for time. Why play for picks? We, even on these like light buys that we had, they were still able to take that round just through time alone. And that is definitely one way to end a grand finals, not through fragging out, but just through sheer patience and playing ring around the rosy, basically, not exposing yourself to any damage.
Miro with the calmest head on the server, man.
Mm-hmm.
This man's split-second decision-making in these clutch situations is unrivaled in this final. That teleport across the map early on the round, clutching this out because he knows he just needs to play for time for 2 more seconds instead of looking for the duel. Just well done all around. Bobcats putting on a show with the Vikings fighting tooth and nail, but it's not enough. It's just not enough. Still, commiserations to them, big GGs, and congrats to the Bobcats.
Absolutely, your NJCAAE Grand Champions and a title worthy of them. The second they entered this playoffs, it was perfection. Literally perfection. Not a single map drop. Not in any of the rounds that they played, and not even here in the grand finals. And Liffy, I don't know who deserves to be grand champions more than a team that is capable of doing that.
Totally agree with you. What a final. Yes, it's a quick 3-0 sweep, but such a beautiful, beautiful series. Great plays from both sides. This has been a lot of fun, but I don't think we're quite over with all the esports actions in the next coming days, right, Sam?
No, we are not. In fact, the season finals for some other games are coming up, including one for tomorrow, and that is going to be Rocket League at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with, guess what, even more action happening on Tuesday, December 6th, with Rainbow Six Siege at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you're wondering what you wanted to do this weekend, well, have I got good news for you. Call of Duty Vanguard, happening this Saturday, December 10th, at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. So make sure that you go ahead, follow the channel, so that way you get notifications so that when the rest of these amazing esports titles are going to be played. I want to say a big thank you from myself and from Lithy for watching. It was a fantastic time being here. Once again, big congratulations to Bryant-Stratton College. You guys played a fantastic game of Valorant tonight, and it was an absolute pleasure. Lithy, any final words?
No, it's been great, Sam. Casting with you, finally some Valorant together. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. Hope you all guys enjoyed it, and hope you have a great start into your week tomorrow.
And there you have it, everyone. Thank you all.